What is going on, trainers? Sticks10 here, and today we're going to take a look at the Silph Arena Factions for Cycle 1 here. We are going to be taking a look at North America and just the Diamond and Platinum tiers. We really want to do a deep dive on each of these 16 teams, kind of give a ranking of where I think each team will land at the end of the season just based on previous performances. These rankings definitely will change throughout the season as we get some more battles under our belts. But let's jump right in. We're going to jump into that Diamond tier first. All right, we've got the Diamond tier here. We've got 8 teams that make up the Diamond tier. This is the top tier for Silph Arena Factions. We've got Chicago Stars, Canadian Shieldon, Maryland PvP. We've got Cool Cats, Team Omegalul, SoCal Swablu, EvanStonks, and then finally rounding out the top 8, we've got Madison Miltanks. First up, we're going to take a deep dive into the Canadian Shieldon here. This team performed really well. They did 7-2-1. Their notable losses are to the Marillanders PvP and EvanStonks. Both of those are Diamond tier teams. The Marylanders definitely had a pretty significant win there, 8-13. So they lose by 5 points there. EvanStonks was just a 1-point loss. And then they did have their tie was to Muddy Water. And then they did have a change to their roster. They added Jimma Banks onto their team. So we'll see how he fits in. It doesn't look like he's done any Silph Cups this time. Definitely somebody that's been around, knows how to PvP. So we'll see what additions he will add to the team. Is he going to help him? Is he going to hurt him? And then where we go from here. Let's go on and check out the next team. Next up, we've got the Chicago Stars. They were 9-1 in the preseason, losing only to Mazer, 10-11 there. So they only lost by 1 point to Mazer. And then some notable wins for them. They did beat Deoxys Alberta Forme, 14-7. They're a platinum tier team, so definitely a big win for them there. And then they did go 5-0 in the last cycle. So I've got them as definitely somebody to look out for. And here is their roster. They've got several legend players on their team. So definitely a team that is going to be formidable, and definitely a team that I think is going to finish in the top of the Diamond tier. So let's go on to the next team now. And it's none other than the Cool Cats. Definitely a very impressive win total for them here. They went 9-1 in their bouts. So their only loss was to Wing Attack. They lost 9-12. Wing Attack is a platinum tier team that we'll be looking at later. Some notable wins for Cool Cats. They did beat the Elite Four champions and Team Omegalul. Both of them by 1 point, so very close matches there. For Cool Cats, they did go 5-0 in the first cycle. Did pick up 1 loss in the last cycle here. So let's check out their team. A lot of names here that you guys are going to recognize. A lot of legend tier players in the Silph Cups. So definitely a team that we're going to be watching, and I've put them pretty high up in my power rankings, but not all the way at the top. So let's go on to the next team. Next up, we've got EvanStonks. They went 8-2 in the qualifying for the first season here. Notable losses there are Wing Attack. They lost 7-14, so that was a pretty big blowout. And then they also lost to SoCal Swablu, 5-16. So both of those are pretty big losses and something to look out for there. Now, notable wins. They actually rematched SoCal Swablu's in this last qualifying, and they actually won 12-9. So that to me shows they made vast improvements. They also went 5-0 in the qualifying, which are the last 5 games. So to me, there's somebody that is definitely on the rise in the Silph factions, and somebody to look out for there. Let's take a look at their team members real fast. So they may not look like much here. We've got a couple of challengers, some ace tier players, and then some rivals. So they haven't done a lot in Silph Arena this year, but definitely somebody to look out for, going 8-2, 5-0 in their last 5 battles. Definitely a team that I think is on the rise. Definitely a team that I think is going to compete for the top spot here in Diamond tier. Let's move on to the next team. We've got the Madison Miltanks rolling out here in the Diamond tier. And so they went 7-2-1 in their qualifying. So they lost. Their notable losses here are to Deoxys Alberta Forme by 1 point, and then Wing Attack. They lost 9-12. Both of those are platinum tier teams. They also tied with Insynchronize, which is a bronze tier team. Very interesting there. They went 10-10. So definitely a team that I think is going to be on the lower end and could possibly either be in that relegation match or could just be automatically moved down into platinum tier. Let's take a look at the roster. And here is their roster. So definitely made up of a lot of players that have not done a whole lot of Silph this cycle or this turn around. So we will definitely be looking out for Madison Miltanks and see if they can get rolling here in the Diamond tier of North America Silph Arena. The next team we've got is Marillanders PvP. Definitely a team. They are the only undefeated team in Silph Arena for North America here. They went 10-0 in qualifying. Very impressive. So losses for them, 0, because they didn't have any notable wins. They beat the Canadian Shieldons by 13-8. They also beat East Caliper, which is a gold tier team, 15-6. A lot of other wins for them, obviously. A couple of notes on them. They did make a few changes to their roster, so let's take a look at that. And so they did add Brink, and Ada Kazam were both added to the roster, so we'll see how that shakes up. And they are, note, they are the only undefeated team for both of the first qualifying cycles. So I do think they are going to be, no surprise to anybody, they should be the #1 team right now. Definitely went up against some good competition. We'll see how it shakes out with this bout cycle as it comes up. Let's jump into the next team. Next up, we've got SoCal Swablu. This is a team that went 9-1 in their qualifying rounds. Their only loss was to EvanStonks, and which is a diamond tier team. We already talked about them. That was in the last qualifying cycle. So they went lost that one by 3 points. Notable wins: they did beat Deoxys Alberta Forme 11-10, so by 1 point. And we'll take a look at their roster now. They've got some big trainers here. They also just added Crystal Blue Pepsi, who is a legend. So we are going to see how that addition shakes out in their team. A lot of good players here. Definitely somebody to watch out for. I put them towards the mid tier of the rankings right now. They'll be safe. As far as I'm concerned, they're not going to get in the relegation match or anything like that, but we'll see how it shakes out throughout the year. And last but not least, the only reason they're last right now is because of alphabetic order that I put them in. We've got Team Omegalul. They went 8-2. They did have 2 losses here, and they were to Cool Cats, which is diamond tier, by 1 point. Then they also lost to Utah Pokemon Rangers, which is a bronze tier team, by 1 point as well. So definitely looks like a pretty good team. We'll check out their roster and see what we see there. And as you can see, a lot of ace trainers here for this team. Definitely one to look out for. I put them in the lower ranks, and let's see now the power rankings for the diamond tier. So here are my power rankings, unofficial. These mean absolutely nothing. They're just me guessing basically where people may end up for the diamond tier here. We got Marillanders PvP, we've got EvanStonks, we've got Chicago Stars, Cool Cats, SoCal Swablus. Now in the number 6 spot right now, I've got Canadian Shieldon. That would be the relegation bout that they would go against the number 3 from the platinum tier. And then I have in 7th spot, we've got Madison Miltanks. And then in number 8 spot, we've got Team Omegalul. Both those teams, I think, could definitely do some work. We just don't have enough battles right now, don't have enough stats to see where they're really going to end up. That's why we've got to do these battles, and that's what I'm really looking forward to of this platinum tier. These are all really good teams. We'll see how it shakes out after the first few weeks. I think I will do weekly updates of these power rankings. It may just be a Twitter post or something like that, so definitely make sure you guys are following me on there. Let me know if you think I'm totally off base. That's totally fine. You can put it in the comments and let me know. No way, this team's way better than you're saying they are. Hey, I'm open. You guys convince me why. Give me some good reasons, and I'll check those out in the comments below. Next up, let's take a look at Platinum tier. Right now, what I'm seeing in these is a lot of these teams went 4-1 in a qualifying. That's the only reason they didn't make it to the Diamond tier. But I definitely think a lot of these teams will move up, be promoted into Diamond tier. At least 3 of them, obviously. 2 of them will be, and another one could be as well. So I definitely want to show you guys the teams and break them down a little bit more. So we've got TNT Flingulls, we've got Dojo Squad, Ohio Nation, PA Perrserkers, Wing Attack, Deoxys, Alberta Forme, Icy Wind, and then we got Elite 4 champions. So definitely a stacked platinum tier here. Let's jump into each team and see what we can learn about them. First up is Deoxys Alberta Forme. Definitely a team that I see a lot of potential in. They went 7-3 with their notable losses being to the Chicago Star and SoCal Swablus, both of them diamond tier teams. They lost to Chicago Stars 7-14. Then SoCal Swablu's, they lost 10-11, so only by 1 point. They did go 4-1 in the last qualifying round, and so I do think they're a team that can definitely move up. And we'll see how they do. 7-3, not a great overall record, but they did go 4-1 in the last tier, so I think they've got a chance. And here is their roster for Deoxys Alberta Forme. Definitely some really good Silph performers here, and I'm really looking forward to what this team has to offer. Next up is Dojo Squad. I have no idea where these guys came from. They did not qualify. They did not put a team together for the first cycle. So they actually only went 4-1, which I think is the only reason why they're in the platinum tier. Notable losses here. They did lose. Their only loss was Chicago Stars, which is diamond tier, by 1 point. And their notable wins, they actually won against PA Perrserkers 14-7, which is going to be one of the teams they have to compete against. This team is somebody I'm going to keep a close eye on because I have no idea where they came from, and it'll be very interesting to see how they can perform in this season against some of these teams that have a few more battles under their belts. And you can see here, their team is made up a bunch of trainers and rivals. They don't have anybody ace or any other high challenger or anything. So that's why I'm saying I'm not sure how these guys are going to compete. But honestly, 4-1 and only losing that one by 1 point, these guys are somebody to look out for. And if you're in platinum tier and you're going against them, do not underestimate them. Next up is Elite 4 champions. They don't need a whole lot of introductions here. I think you guys know most of who's on the team. So they did go 8-2 with their 2 losses being to Cool Cats by 1 point, and then Body Slammers, which is a silver tier team, by 1 point as well. So that's really good for them. Only losing by 1 point in each of those means they are very close to making that diamond tier. They did have some notable wins against Wing Attack and Ohio Nation. both of those by 5 or more points. Both of those are platinum tier teams that they will have to go up against. They did go 4-1 in their qualifying, their last rounds. So let's check out the roster. So a lot of names you guys may be familiar with. Arrow, House Stark. We've got a lot of notables here, and so it's going to be very interesting to see how this team shakes up and how they do in this round of competition. I do have them as a higher tier team that should be moving on to diamond tier for next cycle, but we'll see how they do, and no guarantees, that's for sure. And we've got, next up is going to be Icy Wind. They went 7-3 in their bouts so far. Their key losses here are going to be to Team Mishigingar and then Mazer Gaming. Mazer Gaming, they only lost by 1 point. Team Mishigingar, they lost by 7. Pretty big loss there. They did go 4-1 in their last qualifying match, so definitely a team to look out for here. And a couple big names that are on their team. They've got Wallower, and they also have Dragon Silk. So those are definitely two names you guys may recognize. Definitely a team that could win, but we'll see how they stack up in the rankings. Next up, Ohio Nation. They went 7-3 in their qualifying bouts. They went some losses for them. They lost to the Elite Four 8-13, and then Backstage Battlers they lost as well 7-14. That is a gold tier team, so I do have them as a lower ranked team in the platinum tier. We'll see how it shakes out. They did go 3-2 in their last qualifying match. And here is the Ohio Nation roster. I couldn't find that they had made any changes between seasons or anything. So definitely a team that I am excited to see how they can perform in Platinum tier. Next up, a team with a really cool mascot here, Perrserkers. I just love Perrserker. It's a cool looking Pokemon. They went 8-2. Some losses for them. They did lose to Dojo Squad, 7-14, as we mentioned before. And then they also lost to SoCal Swablu's 4-17. So that's a pretty big loss there. They did win against TNT Flingulls, which is a platinum tier team that they're going to compete against again, 12-9, and they went 4-1 in their last qualifying matchup. So here is Perrserkers. Here's their lineup that they have registered right now. The team went 8-2. I couldn't find any changes that they had made to their team. So definitely a solid squad here. We'll see how they do with the new metas that Silph has announced. Definitely something to watch out. Next, we've got TNT Flingulls. They were 7-3 in the preseason. Notable losses here. They lost to the bronze tier Pogoats 9-12, and they lost to the silver tier Ann Arbor Arbox by 1 point. So a lot of close matches there. They did go 3-2 in their last qualifying match, so did not perform very well. Maybe it was just the meta that they did not enjoy, but definitely a team that I think might be on relegation alert. Definitely something to look out for there. And here is TNT Flingulls roster. Definitely looks like a good mix of trainers here with some Silph experience this season. A lot of ace trainers there. So I definitely think they can get it together. But can they get the teamwork together to actually get some victories? A lot of close losses for them. So I would like to see them win some. And the final team for the platinum tier here is Wing Attack, because we're going in alphabetic order, and I think W comes after T, and so there we go. They went 8-2 in their first matches, and so some notable losses here. Elite Four, they did lose 7-14, as we mentioned before, and they did lose to Chicago Star 8-13. But they do have some really big wins as well. We've got Cool Cats. They went 12-9 against them, and EvanStonks 14-7, and then Madison Miltanks 12-9. So those are all 3 diamond tier teams that they defeated at some point in their qualifying run. They did go 4-1 in their last qualifiers, so that's a really big deal, and that's why I've got them pretty high up on this list. They knocked off some pretty big diamond tier teams, and so definitely going to be a team that I think can move up into diamond tier themselves. And here is the roster for Wing Attack. Looks like a good, solid base of players. I think they are working pretty well together, and I think they're right on the verge of breaking into Diamond Tier. And I know you guys have been waiting for this. Here are the power rankings I've got right now for Platinum Tier North America. We've got number 1 is going to be the Elite 4 Champions. 2 is Wing Attack. 3, I've got Dojo Squad there right now. They've got to prove to me a little bit more before they can move up or down. Definitely not enough battles there to know yet, but they had a very strong performance and knocked off a pretty big team as well. 4 is going to be PA Perrserkers. 5, Deoxys Alberta Forme. 6 is Icy Wind, right in that relegation match right now. I think it definitely could go either way for them. I think they've got some strong competitors there. So if you guys see this Icy Wind and you're thinking, man, what is this guy smoking? You know, prove me wrong on the battlefield. I'll definitely take that any day. And then we've got 7 and 8. We've got Ohio Nations and TNT Flingulls. I just think TNT Flingulls, I didn't see any really big notable wins for them, and that's the main reason. And the same thing for Ohio Nation. I think those two, if they, you know, the first few weeks, if they can beat a few competitors here and there, I definitely think they can move up in the rankings. All this is subject to change, and honestly, it means absolutely nothing. You know, it's just me coming up with who I think could possibly move up or down in the rankings and go on to the next tier, or move down to the, you know, a lower tier, to gold tier in this case. So take it for what it's worth. Leave it in the comments if you guys hate me, you know, whatever, I'm fine with that. All right, guys, so that is going to do it for the Diamond and Platinum tier of North American factions. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, I need you guys to like and comment, share this video, let me know what I can do. I really want to cover gold, silver, and bronze tier. I may not go as in-depth on those, just because it is hard to find some of this information for team changes and stuff like that. So if you guys have one of those teams, and you guys have a Twitter account and you guys haven't already, reach out to me on there. I'm trying to find everybody in all these tiers, and I was able to find pretty much everybody for these two, but definitely I need some help in that regard. Also, if you guys have highlights and stuff that you guys want me to show of your battles, I'll definitely put those in there as we go along. Definitely looking forward to Silph Arena Factions, and I think it's going to be an awesome addition to PvP for Pokemon Go. As always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters that are out there and that do support the channel. Makes these videos possible, allows me some time to sit down and actually write this stuff and figure out what I'm going to talk about. So Evo, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. And if you guys are interested in that, the link is in the description down below. I'll also put a couple videos up here if you guys want to check those out. I definitely encourage you guys to look at those. And I will have some videos out later this week, probably showing off some more of the Silph factions as we get started. Do some analysis maybe of some battles that I have coming up. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys have a great day. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and keep on battling.